You're a busy advisor. Okay, you're working with clients. You've done this for quite some time. You're doing your CPD and everything. Okay, you're building a business within a business essentially. How do you create a business within a business to support you and how you work?
Yeah.
And do Hoxton support you in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Hoxton give us the framework to essentially be able to build what we want to be able to build. There's no limit to what we want to do or how we want to do it. And they've got the compliance framework, they've got the admin framework, the business processing framework to be able to support that. If you build a good team around you, if you can have some good paraplanners and sort of coordinator, by which I mean, or a business manager, somebody that's kicking the clients along the road and making sure that they're where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be, and you've got good admin on your team and even got life admin, someone to help me run my life as well, then that does free up a lot of time. And then you get to choose how you spend that time, which might be playing golf, or it might just be going to see another couple of clients so you can build that team and build that business even more. Mm.
We had a conversation pre-podcast and you shared with me, the level that you've built within your business, the number of clients you have and the assets under management. And it's incredible. It's, it's admirable, and you've built a fantastic business. You've done it for quite some time. In reality, you don't need to keep going. You don't need to keep building your business. What's sort of driving you forward? What stage are you at now? What's driving you forward, and why?
That's a really good question. A couple of answers to that. There is a culture of success at Hoxton, which I like. And I also believe if you're not going forwards, eventually you're going backwards, you're going to get left behind. And Hoxton has really helped me grasp things that I wasn't doing before. I'm quite traditional in many senses as an advisor. There's no way on earth I would have been able to deal with my clients in the way that I was throughout COVID if it hadn't been for the support that Hoxton gave us all to be able to do those clients. And I think I told you sort of jokingly, right, I tried semi-retirement and wasn't for me. So next stop, Project 55. I was 50 a couple of months ago now in September. And that gives a good opportunity to reassess, rebalance, what are we trying to do, how are we doing it, and what are we building towards. And it's really important to me, every time I take on a client, to be able to know what their journey is going to look like for the longer term. Mm. So I'm not ready to go just yet until I've got some solid plans and a solid team around me to see those clients out for the next 40, 50 years maybe.
What would you say to somebody who's listening to this podcast, perhaps around about the same age, right? 50 years old, maybe in their early 50s. The average age is 55 in the UK. Wow. What would you suggest? If they were thinking about becoming an international financial planner, what questions would you ask them to answer or to write down or to think about before they made the decision to actually perhaps come over to Dubai or to France or to join an international financial planning business? What should they do to assess whether or not it's the right thing for them?
I think they should ask themselves if they enjoy traveling, if they enjoy widening their experiences. You have to have you got an open mind? Is it something that you can do? And do you enjoy the challenges of working across a number of different jurisdictions and the opportunities that gives in order to help your clients? What are you motivated by and how? And if money is a motivating factor, then clearly it's a good place to be able to make money. Mm-hmm. If lifestyle is a motivating factor, you can carve out a very nice lifestyle. It's the beginning of November and I'm absolutely leaking here. Some might argue that's not a great lifestyle, living in 25, 30 degrees heat in the winter, but it's all right. If lifestyle is a factor, if an environment and a community of advisors in a growing business excites you to feel as though you're part of something, then that would... I spent before joining Hoxton, probably the last 10 years of my career before joining Hoxton, running you could almost call it boutique advisory service. I would liken myself to a wealth concierge as much as anything else, and it was everything I could do possible to not have to speak to or see or have anything to do with anyone else in the industry at all. And it was Chris and Matt that sort of dragged me out of my shell, kicking and screaming, putting me in a room with other advisors, and that started off as 5, 10, 15, 20. And now all of a sudden, what have we got, 300 plus members of staff, and I feel like I'm part of that community and part of a growing company, and it's really exciting. So even things that you might not think you would like. You've just got to have to ask yourself if you've got an open mind.
I really enjoyed, built a recruitment business, 25 people, did it for 16 years, fell out of love with it and left. I also felt that in that environment, however hard I was pushing forward and the aspirations and the goals and the visions that I had and what I wanted to achieve, I was banging my head against a brick wall left, right and centre. I couldn't fulfil my objectives, and it was making me quite angry and quite unhappy. When I actually left that business, which is a story I'll tell you about another time for another podcast, for me to go from that business, which it felt like, I kind of like, not going to be arrogant, but I felt like a big fish in a small pond, which is why I was banging my head against the brick wall all the time. And I kind of sometimes doubted was my ambition toxic? Was it like a toxic ambition? And people were almost kind of pessimist towards me. Like I was wanting to push forward, but others didn't really want to. So then they were pulling me down a little bit. And actually it felt that way, too much. So when I left there and Chris invited me out here and just said, come out and have a look. I came out and had a look, and it was like almost instantaneous. The city felt like it had an energy of wanting to grow. Yeah. It wanted to push forward. People were here because they want to work. I didn't feel that in the UK, right? It was more about how can I do a 4-day work week? How can I not work? How can I get work-life balance? All that kind of thing. And it kind of negged me a little bit, right? But I came here and then I came into Hoxton, and then I was surrounded by a really brilliant leadership team. And then looking out on the floor, and all the different people in all different types of roles all shared this kind of growth mindset. And it was like, whoa, like it's not something that you just see, it's something that you feel, and something that you do see it, but you see it through action, not talk.
Yes.
There's a lot of real positive growth mindset talk going on, but you see it backed up with action.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that excited me massively.
So I think, what they say famously in Dubai, you're only limited by your imagination. And you're absolutely right.